Hello, everybody, and welcome to the London Mountain Podcast. My name's Greg Hackett, and in this series of interviews, I'm going to be talking to filmmakers who enter their films for our festival, and I'm also going to be talking to community hosts, who are the wonderful people who share those films in their communities. If you think you could be either a filmmaker or a community host, then this is the podcast for you. Enjoy. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the London Mountain Podcast. In this edition, we're heading down to Keynsham, where there's a life saving club that's run by a chap called Blondie, who's with me now. How are you doing, Blondie?
I'm very well, thank you, Greg. Very happy to be here.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us. Now, you've run a couple of film nights with us, and we'll get to those in a minute. But more importantly, I want to hear all about this life saving club of yours. Could you give us a quick rundown of what you get up to down there?
Yeah, of course. So I'm the chairman of Keynsham Life Saving Club. We're a not-for-profit community club. We've got about 25 members between the ages of 8 and 18. And we run weekly training sessions teaching first aid, a bit of water safety theory, and some practical water rescue techniques. So if any of our members ever find themselves in a situation where they're, maybe walking by the river or down on the beach, and they see somebody in difficulty, they'll have the skills to deal with that without putting themselves into danger. We give them the opportunity to do Royal Life Saving Society awards, so the Rookie Lifeguard Award Scheme, and for the slightly older children, the National Life Saving Academy. We also attend competitions and put our skills against other life saving clubs from across the country. And then just recently, we've come into our summer season and we started running our open water training sessions down at the River Avon in Salford. And we occasionally take trips to the beach as well. So yeah, there's an awful lot going on in the club, but all around water safety and staying safe and learning how to enjoy the water in a safe way.
So you say you have these little tournaments with other life-saving clubs. Are there very many of them? Because I've never come across one personally, which is a shame because I obviously should be doing it, and so should everybody by the sound of it. How many of you are there?
Yeah, there's quite a few around the country. We tend to compete in the University Life Saving Club circuit. Obviously, our members are much younger than university age. There's a club in Bristol. We'll go to their competition. One in Birmingham, occasionally Warwick and Southampton as well. They're our kind of closest clubs. In terms of community clubs that would be open to everyone, again, there's a few scattered around the country. Typically quite a lot along the south coast of the UK, as you can imagine. But there's a few inland as well. I think our next closest is at Bradford-on-Avon. And then there's a community club just recently started in Bristol as well. So yeah, there are a few around.
Brilliant. And I guess that there are costs involved in running this kind of venture. I suppose I'm assuming that's why you decided to run a film night using our films to raise some funds. How difficult is it to find funding for that kind of thing, and how much of it do you have to go out and find yourself?
Yeah, it is challenging. So our biggest expense is hiring the swimming pool to train in each week. Swimming pools are not cheap to run, and so that's our biggest expense. We try and keep the cost as low as possible for our members. So in general, we try and run on a sort of sustainable basis, but of course, you need a certain critical mass of members before you can even start a life-saving club. And when I first joined the club, we'd had a bit of a dip. The pool had closed for a refurbishment. We'd lost a few of our members, and then it's very hard to get started again because, of course, you can't start training until you've got a pool, but you can't pay for the pool until you've got lots of members. And we are really keen to try and keep the cost as low as possible. We find for a lot of our members, this is a second or third activity that they do each week. So we're really conscious we want to avoid cost being a barrier. We do get grants from Keynsham Town Council, and they're very, very generous. But yeah, keeping the money flowing is always a challenge.
Okay, so running this festival has become obvious to me just by the balance of the quantity of films we get in each year. Over the last years, there's been a definite increase in films around swimming, and I think that must correspond to an increase in activity in what is now called cold water swimming, which used to be called swimming when I was young. Is that it was a long time ago. Is that do you think there's any corresponding increase in risk with that growth in the sport?
I think potentially. I'd absolutely encourage people to get involved in enjoying the waters around the UK in a safe way. As you start to see lots of articles in the news about open water swimming and cold water swimming, that might encourage people to go and give it a go. And I guess for those individuals, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, go and give it a go. but go with somebody who knows what they're doing. It's not without risk. Absolutely. Go and enjoy the water, but do it in a safe way. Do your research. Go to a known safe swimming spot. We'd always recommend going to a lifeguarded spot and going with friends. So there's somebody there who can assist if you do get into difficulties. And go with somebody who's got a bit of experience so that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. And you mentioned that you felt that your members did 3 or 4 other activities apart from swimming. So I guess that suggests to me that you don't necessarily just have to show swimming films then. I mean, how did you put for the film night? How did you determine what films you would show?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm fortunate as a host, I have the opportunity to watch every film. There's far too many, I haven't got time, but I can pick and choose. I like to try and get a bit of a balance in the films we're showing. So you're absolutely right. Some of them just leap out at me. I think from the first film session we ran, there was a film called Circumnavigate by a lifeguard, Brendan Prince. And he starts the film by talking very emotionally about his personal experience. He was off duty, he was surfing on a beach, and a couple of people got into difficulty in the water. And as a qualified lifeguard, he went in, he pulled somebody out of the water, got them on the beach, he started doing CPR. And then he realized that another casualty had been dragged in, and they were on the beach as well. And he sort of looked up at the crowd and he said, right, come on, somebody start CPR. You know, he's working on one casualty, shouting at the crowd for anybody to start CPR in a second casualty, and nobody had the skills. And that really sort of inspired him to do this epic trek around the UK. He did a stand-up paddleboard trip around the whole of the UK to raise awareness of water safety and raise money. And that's such a hard-hitting film. I mean, even talking about it now, the hairs are standing up on the back of my neck. So that was an obvious one. You know, we had to include that. So for the first film festival, that was really kind of the core, the sort of the flagship film, if you like. And then around that, I guess it's a case of just building films that sort of speak to me. So I think we started that festival off with a Baffin vacation. So a couple of people doing this sort of epic journey, skiing hundreds of kilometers. I really enjoyed that one. And then I guess in the more recent film festival, we started that off with 2.4. So that was the Leo Holding, I think, isn't it? Was the climber going on holiday with his family. And you know, just a really light-hearted film, people out enjoying the great outdoors, and just a really sort of positive, touching film, but funny at times. So yeah, we try and get a variety of different sports in there.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going for a real mix, which I think is great. Now, that leads me on to I'm interested in your event model, which sounds a bit serious, but quite a lot of people get in touch with me and ask about what they should be charging for these things. And I often think that people are more tempted to undercharge and charge too little. Could you give us a little insight into how you arrived at your pricing and what you went with, and whether you think you got it right and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So we run this, as I say, as a community event. We're really fortunate. We've got a fantastic facility right on our doorstep. It's got beautiful rake seating. It's got, you know, big screen and inbuilt data projector. And then there's a space next door, so we run a bar in that area and a raffle as well. So it really is a night out. And I guess we price it accordingly. I guess my view is they're either gonna come to the film festival or they're not. And most people would view it as a charity kind of fundraiser type event. We are a not-for-profit club. I tend to take the view that as long as you're not charging hundreds of pounds per ticket, most people who have made the decision to come along will be prepared to pay a reasonable amount to do that. So yeah, I'm aware we're probably slightly on the high side of what people are charging for the London Mountain Film Festival generally, but our audience, the feedback is nothing but positive every time. And I think for the quality and the variety of films on offer, I view this as a high quality event, and people are prepared to pay accordingly.
Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to argue that the films are good, but I think also you can do it because it sounds like your facilities are really top notch, but also your cause is top notch, and people want to give to that. So I'm not surprised you can charge £200. How much did you say it was?
I'm trying to remember what we normally charge. I think it's around £14 or £15. We do a bit of an early bird discount to try and get the initial flow of people signing up. There's always that heart-stopping period when you've had your initial flurry of people signing up, and then it all goes a little bit quiet until maybe 2 weeks before the event. and then the orders start to rush in and you can relax knowing that you've sort of covered your costs. But yeah, it's always slightly nervous moments as you wait for the bulk of the ticket sales to go.
So go on then. You said that the feedback was good and all the rest of it. Why do you think it's working for you, this idea?
I think for us as a club, it's a way of targeting people that are not directly associated with the club. So I'm very conscious that our families, they pay to attend the Life Saving Club. But running the film festival has given us the opportunity to expand out and really sort of target people in the local area who might come along. You don't have to have an interest in lifesaving to have an interest in amazing adventure films. I generally tend to pick relatively short films for the program. So maybe one or two of the slightly longer ones, that maybe sort of 35, 40-minute films. And then most of the films, I'm just having a look now, most of the films I've picked have been around sort of 5 to 10 minutes. So even if the film you're watching isn't to your taste, well, do you know what? Sit tight and in 10 minutes, another epic film will be along. So yeah, I do think that kind of variety speaks to people. And for us, as I say, it's such an easy event to run. The way we can view all the films online in advance, we can put a little program together. And then on the night, it's really straightforward. It's basically a case of clicking play on the website and playing through the films we selected. So, it makes it a very easy way for us to raise a bit of money for the club.
I think you're right about the shorts. And if you are going to show a longer film, then make sure it's relevant to your organisation, which of course the Brendan Prince film was, because that's one of the longer ones, right? That's, I think, about an hour or so. So that makes sense. All right, well, that's fantastic. Listen, thank you so much for that. Before you go, though, people watching this might think, ooh, maybe I should start a life-saving club. Is that something that's difficult to do? What would you say to someone out there who thinks that they might want to begin something as you have down in Keynsham, where they live? How would they go about it?
So, yeah, I guess the first thing I would say is reach out to the Royal Life Saving Society. There's a lot of support on offer there. I was actually fairly recently involved in setting up the Life Saving Club in Bristol. So that's only been going less than a year now. And I was blown away. So I sort of put a post on Facebook and said, is anyone interested in setting up a club at this pool? And I was maybe expecting maybe one or two people to kind of come along and say, yeah, okay, we'll think about it. So I said, well, look, let's meet in the pub. We'll have a chat. And there was 8 or 10 people turned up. By the end of that first meeting, we had a chair, a secretary and a treasurer, and 6 people who were willing to volunteer their time for an hour a week to train as instructors and to deliver life-saving training. You can do the training to be a rookie lifeguard instructor in a day. So, it is very straightforward. It's quite a low bar. And that club already, in a year, it's just going from strength to strength. So it's certainly easier if you've got a little bit of previous experience, but even if you haven't, it's definitely doable. Find a swimming pool, reach out to the Royal Life Saving Society, and they'll give you all the support you need.
Well, there you have it, folks. 2 things: reach out to the society, and secondly, organise your launch meeting in a pub. and then you'll leave with a full board of people prepared to get involved. Very clever. Right. Okay. Well, thanks, Blondie. Listen, that's been fantastic. Thank you for your time. Good luck with the club, and also good luck with the event. Again, we'll see you again in February, I'm sure. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, you definitely will. Thank you, Greg.
Hey, everybody, and thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you want to be a community host, it is really, really easy to bring adventure to your hometown, village, wherever it is you hang out, and raise money for your club, your charity, your adventurous cause. All the details are on our website. Check it out, and we'll see you in February. Thank you. Bye.